Now let's say you wanted the students to be able to check their graph. Okay, the example in the coding activity is on slide number 31. Okay, so you would, in this case, they would just sketch a graph. And then they could hit the check my sketch button and check it. So I did that quickly, but that's kind of the idea. All right, so a couple of things you need to do first, okay, and that is to set up a graph. And when you go to set up your graph based upon, in this case, it's a function, so it's based off this video. I've edited it so that I've kind of have like a trend of what the graph should probably look like based off the video. And then I've added this slider in. So you want to put beside each of these graphs where a equals 1. What that's going to do based on the code is hide your image there, hide your graph that you created until the student is finished sketching it and they get to check it. Okay, so that's very important. If you don't put the a equals 1, it's just going to show the graph automatically, and you don't want it to do that. You want it to show up after the student has tried it. All right, so the code that I took from here was this. Okay, so a couple of things to remember. So I copy and pasted it in, and I put it into this little computer layer documentation. So I copy and pasted that in. I had to make sure I labeled my button, my action button screen with the BOUTON 21. So that way it knows that those two are connected. All right, so here's how my slide is going to look when it's done. Okay, first the student will read the information and watch the little video about the function. Okay, so they can pick up on some different things as they're drawing it. So it looks like it goes up to about here, then it stops for a little bit. So I'm just going to pretend like I'm a student. I'm just kind of drawing this. Okay, so that's my guess for the sketch. Okay, so when I check the sketch, it's going to be more or less right here. So if I were looking at this as a teacher, is from a teacher standpoint, I would see the student was fairly close, but they just didn't get the timing and the height estimated correctly. Okay, so that's a pretty cool tool that, the student can look to see if they were kind of close in regard to the sketch or regard to the graph. So if you're doing something like a parabola or a linear equation, you can be more exact. This was more just kind of basing it off the video. So as long as they're kind of close, they have it right.